teaching you the art of industrial real estate. This is On Air with Team Jensen.
All right. Welcome, listeners. We are very excited for our episode 16 today. We have Matt Moore with Martin City Brewing Company here today. And fun for us, this is actually our inaugural sponsorship episode with Martin City. So we are very excited to have you on. Thanks for coming on with us.
Well, it's nice to finally see what our dollars are being spent on.
Well, and, I think we're going to be able to enjoy some of these shortly here.
Yeah, sure.
So,
yeah.
But,
happy to be here, guys.
Excited to have you on, and, always love support, whether that's, through cash or beers. We'll take it any way we can get it. So, but, excited to dive into your background, and I think just about everyone in Kansas City should be pretty familiar with Martin City Brewing Company, and but would love to kind of hear your story about how the idea came about, and when you started making beer, and when all of a sudden you said, I should start selling this and grow a brewery.
Well, like I said, thanks for having me on. Excited to be here. Yeah, I don't know if you would be surprised at how many people still don't know about Martin City and Kansas City. So we're still working away, and we're taking down people one drinker at a time. So that's our plight. So back in my business partner Chance and I, we were sailors on Lake Jacomo. I was born in Kansas City. Grew up Johnson County, not far from Martin City. I did a lot of my adolescent rearing on the streets of Martin City, if you will. And anyway, Chance and I became sailing buddies by virtue of a friend, and started making beer together. And I mean, it was like any home brewer. So we were doing that probably in 2009, 8, 9, 10, and my family owned the building that we opened the original restaurant in, and it was. We were at lunch one day, one of those things where it's like, man, we should put a brewery in there. And it was early on from the big kind of brewery renaissance, obviously Boulevard and Free State and Tallgrass, and there were plenty around that had paved the way. And, small 75th Street, I don't, I want to pay tribute to anybody who's been here before, but, before the big renaissance. And we opened the original restaurant, didn't get the brewery kind of fit in there, so we opened it under the guise of Martin City Brewing Company. People would come in and they'd be a little disgruntled because we weren't a brewery at all at the time. We were home brewing and trying to give away beer. Alcohol control shut that down real quick. And then. Anyway, we had the best beer you could buy in Kansas City at the time. There were super rare stuff, and there was just a handful of us. That was kind of the time where, you'd get specialty kegs. It'd go to 2 or 3 places in the city. And so anyway, and our food was second to none. I mean, it was exceptional out there. We were doing scratch, this bar food, gourmet bar food, scratch bar food. I know a lot of people are doing it now, and we had a chef early on. Then anyway, we parlayed. The restaurant went really well. It was well received by Johnson County and South Kansas City, and we parlayed that and doubled down and built the brewery right next door. It was really fortuitous that property came to be. And then anyway, so since then. It's been pizza and tap rooms nonstop, as fast as I can get them open.
Who built the brewery for you?
The brewery was built. Jim Sullivan was the architect. The guys. It was. I mean, Nick, our brewmaster, and I mean, this wasn't. Knowing what you don't know, you don't know. So if I could rebuild the brewery or have somebody rebuild it, I would have done that 10 times over. So, I mean, we built it. We had Atlas Mechanical was in there. They helped do it. It came from Canada. I'm not going to remember the brewing outfit out of Canada. But it was one of those things. We bought a steel building, and then somebody put that together. It was it was an outfit, and they did a good job. The concrete guys. I mean, this was my first.
Yeah. So you kind of did the
first and worst general contracting of my entire life. So
first, worst, and last.
I have done limited general contracting since, because I mean the amount you learn is. Yeah. I wanted to put that knowledge to work. So
right.
I mean we're probably 6 steps past that now. I mean I'm basically the current didn't contract me to build the stadium, but I mean I was in the running.
You could have. You could.
I absolutely could have. I mean it was not a whole lot different.
Well, so I've been to a handful of your locations now around town. How many are you up to?
We're up to 6 pizza and tap rooms. We also have the original pub, which is Coast to Coast Pub. And then we're at the airport, and the current is the most recent. So if you count those 2, it'd be 7.
Nice.
Okay.
Yeah, with we're hot on the heels of 8 and 9 also.
Cool. Okay, good. Awesome, good.
How do you decide what's next?
I open my email every day, and we have no.
I'm sure there's people seeking you guys out, but also you have an opinion as to where you're a best fit and where you plug in the best.
Honestly, the deal needs to be right. I'm pretty much open for. I'm pretty much open to any of it. Okay. I don't want to. I don't want to saturate the market. I don't want to become somebody where they're like, oh yeah, there's another one. Now it's kind of dumb.
Right.
So I know we're looking north. Our furthest north location is Lenexa, and that's 87th and on the west side of the world. So we're walking that state line corridor north all the way into North KC and trying to figure out what.
And are these right. all yours and your partner, or are you franchising?
So Chance isn't involved anymore. I have a majority stake in all of them. We've brought on general partners to help ease the, ease the capital outlay, and also, give people, good friends and people that have helped me, a stake in the business and cool. kind of run with it. So cool. It's been a really good model.
What initially was getting you to Martin City, and what was kicking it off? How did it start in the Martin City area?
Honestly, how it started in Martin City was I bought the old pub. I mean, this is now I'm going to use just lay terms. I bought the old pub from my family, and I had a landscaping company since college, and we were moving that. I was freshly married and newborn, and so guys would show up at the house, and we'd be sharpening blades and trucks, and my wife was just over it. And so we were going to move the landscaping company and fence off the back, and I had all these grand thoughts in my head, and it went from that to maybe we should open a brewery at lunch one day. And it was like, I've been trying to get back into the restaurant business, right. So that's how it ended up in Martin City.
Well, and who taught you how to brew beer, or did you?
Larry Ballou, he was the home brewer who sailed with us. That he was, honestly, I owe him for all of pretty much my life's decisions since 14 years ago. He's no longer with us. Exceptional guy, sailor, dad, unbelievable dude. Chance and I were never going to be the brewers when we opened up. I knew I had a grasp on the restaurant side and the hospitality, but I'll cook you a pizza before I'll brew you a beer, honestly.
Yeah, okay. And the pizza's pretty good, too.
Well, appreciate that.
Well, and so part of our new segment that we're going to be enjoying is we will be highlighting our sponsor on these future episodes, and we're going to have a new little segment called
grab one.
Crack It Open.
There it is. Okay.
And so with cracking it open and having the beer master himself here, I was just kind of curious if you have a beer. I'm going to keep it in the beer topic. There's got to be, because I'm sure you guys play around with different type. You guys are always trying to make a new beer, I'd imagine.
Sure.
What is the beer that you didn't make that you wish you did, or is there a beer that you want to make? Like it's kind of a weird question, but I feel like knowing how much goes into it for you guys, there's got to be something on your mind.
The beer that, one more time, the beer that we don't make that I wish we did.
Yeah, like is there a beer that you guys, because I'm sure you guys had a couple, make a couple different types and then pick one or something like that. What's the process? And I now I'm getting into my question.
No, that you're all right. The process is no more in depth than Matt wants us to do this, so we're gonna give it a go over here. I am a big fan of like a citrus wheat, and we've done it a number of times, and I've done it with our old brewmaster Nick, and we've now done it with Stacy, our current brewmaster. I don't think we've come close to perfecting what I'd like out of that beer. So that is the beer that has eluded us, but it's also never, when we started, I wanted to make the perfect IPA. I, to this day, think Hardway is about as good IPA as there is out there. We used Union Jack and Odell IPA, and there were certain IPAs that we were, inspired by, and Nick probably did 100 different versions of that, and I'm floored by it. It's 55% of our sales. It's my favorite beer. It's anyway, it's kind of the freight train behind the brewery.
So there's a collaboration with other brands, other
I
beers,
mean, that was early on. They were,
you guys take ideas and things you like
Sure,
about specific.
without a doubt.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. Cool.
Hazy Way, I believe Stacy's got to the perfect hazy beer for our portfolio.
I love the Hazy Way.
So that's kind of where we're at now. Early on, we were doing so many barrel-aged beers and like 10% beers, so we'd have a big stout sitting in bourbon barrels for 6 months, and we were young guys, and calories didn't matter, and we could. So that's all gone the way of the dodo anymore. I'm looking for the lowest percent beer that I can have 4 of, and everything's still copacetic.
Was there a beer that you guys made by accident that ended up sticking, or ended up being a good one for a while?
I'll have to give that some thought. Nothing off the top of my head.
Yeah. I just know with all
If
the different
something's happened by
experiments,
accident in the brew kettle, it usually isn't.
gets tossed.
Yeah, it usually doesn't turn out to be like, oh man, that was a really great accident.
Right. Okay. Fair enough.
Yeah.
Fair
So, yeah.
Well, and to continue cracking it open, I'm curious, what's the weirdest thing you've ever put in a beer, or what I guess is the weirdest ingredient
Or like
that you
most
guys have in one of your beers?
atypical. Yeah.
Well, adjuncts, we don't have adjuncts that we're putting a lot of, on the regular rotation. We've had prickly pear in a beer. We've had hibiscus. We've had cinnamon. Honestly, there's, there were beers early on where we added spices, ancho chilies. It's kind of in the realm of chef. Nick was a big. He was always dabbling in different. There's been thyme, lemongrass. There's probably a dozen more than I'm not even coming up with. But
I'm curious too about some of your brewmasters. How long were you doing this before you were like, I need to bring on it? Was it immediately, pretty quick, that you felt like you needed somebody with that expertise?
Nick helped build the brewery.
Okay,
We had him about 6 to 9 months before the brewery was even built. And funny version of that story, Chance and I found him, and he he had opened his own brewery, Doodle Brewery, and it just didn't work out. It was probably underfunded, and I don't know what he would say if he was here. But we met him at Kennedy's. You guys are both probably a little young to know Kennedy's, but it was right there at 75th. It was right next to 75th Street Brewery. We met him at Kennedy's, and we basically offered him the job. And he's like, yeah, I'm in. But if this doesn't get going within the next, I'm still going to be answering the phone for the next 6 months because I'm not sure your timetable he'd seen.
Right,
he's like, so I'm in, but I might take another job because at the time he was unemployed and looking for work. And we were always like, no, we're in. You're the guy. We're going to do it. And he's like, yeah, I'm all in. But sometimes this doesn't go the way you think. And anyway, we happened to get it done quick. And we got him on payroll pretty soon. And,
cool.
And he helped build the thing. I mean, we owe a ton to him.
And Stacy's a new.
Stacy's.
How long has she been with you all?
It's a guy, Stacy.
Sorry.
Yeah, no worries.
Sorry.
Everybody would make the mistake. He's been with us just over 2 years now.
Okay,
and he was Nick after 10 years doing this. I mean, it can wear you out. So
Absolutely.
Nick moved on. He works at Honeywell now, which we talked about before. Yeah, he's a mechanical engineer, and I think they pay him double what we ever paid him. But and he has a lot less headache. I know that.
But he can't drink at work.
I think there's a lot of work at home. I'm not gonna even begin to know what he can do at work. But we found Stacy. He was at Ameristar for the last 10, 15 years, and he had the dream job of brewers in Kansas City. Not that Ameristar Sports Pub Brewery was anything too acclaimed, but he got paid very well. He had no oversight except for big casino people, but he could brew whatever he wanted, come in whenever he wanted. And I mean, when we talked, he basically had the dream job, but post-COVID, they shut that down. They figured a brewery and a casino was not ever it wasn't a winning recipe. So.
I was just thinking to myself, what goes into the background of a brewmaster? If you're looking for somebody like that, is there a typical education background or a typical type of person that has maybe it's interest based? I don't know.
I think it's you fall backwards into it after not wanting to be in corporate America, or I would assume it would be the same as a chef or a graffiti artist or something that was just I kind of want to do my own thing,
right?
And it's a special. I mean, there's brewing schools, but a lot of these guys are learning by people that came before them.
Yeah, and a lot a lot goes into it.
Just like this.
Right.
There you go.
Yeah, exactly. Paving the way. Trailblazer. We call him Trailblazer Dan.
Yeah.
Here, I just call him Dad. That's I didn't even know his name was Dan.
Well, and I am, everyone, it seems these days, is making some sort of seltzer.
Yeah.
Have you guys, maybe I'm out of the, not in the know, and you guys have something, but have you guys explored that, and is that something you are looking to, or is it?
Here, we have brewed a couple seltzers. Honestly, it's one of those things. Do you want to be great at a few things or mediocre at all of them?
Right.
We did not make a seltzer that was great. It had come up a bunch of times, especially with Nick, and it's one of those things. There is so much different expertise that goes into making a good to great seltzer. The other thing is, let's say we made a seltzer and you guys or whoever liked it. Let's say it was lemon and lime or whatever.
Right.
The amount of work that would go into, now they also want mango, and then they want peach, and then they want,
right.
The size and
SKUs,
scope that we are,
variety.
there's no way we could package a seltzer in any, to go against any, mass.
Is the process the same?
The process can be the same. And now if you're not, you use You're mashing in with the beer using all basically Pilsner, super clear, super light,
Okay.
and then filtering back and watering down, and adding your flavor ingredients. There's also the way that like High Noon and different ones are using alcohol,
Right,
or I'm sorry, like liquors,
Actual liquor,
yeah,
yeah,
like
yeah,
vodkas and
yeah.
tequilas and stuff, which
Yeah.
is completely different. But
I'm not a big seltzer fan anyways.
yeah, I
I'm
mean,
just
it's no
curious.
big deal. I enjoy seltzer from time to time. It's not our bag, We
Yeah.
don't want to be everything to everybody.
Right. Yeah, it's seltzers.
We
are
do. We can't.
Well, and for every seltzer you're selling, that's probably one less beer generally you're going to be selling. It's like, why,
That's possible.
use the product you already got on hand.
Yeah,
So,
we just weren't gonna.
when I got,
It's a scale thing.
yeah. I got to call out Stuart a little bit. He's asking a lot of questions, and I think this topic maybe interests him more than any of the other we've had. Our brother-in-law calls Stuart the pace setter in the family when it comes to drinking.
Yeah.
Nice.
He appreciates the pale ale or the IPAs and stuff. I think maybe more than I'm more of a. I like drinking like the pilsners and stuff.
How
and
many
lagers.
times do you have to do something before you're an expert at it?
You're almost there. Yeah, enough. Yeah, no, I love it. My brother-in-law's the same way.
Yeah.
Well, so you grew up with Shimishin South, and
Yep.
you're from the area.
I am.
What would I keep cracking it open? I'm just peeling it back, trying to get there. But curious, what your favorite what your favorite KC sports moment is?
Oh boy.
Yeah, and there's a lot to choose from. Luckily, because we've been pretty spoiled lately. But
Yeah. So,
got to pick one.
favorite KC sports moment.
He didn't have to be there for it.
No,
just in general.
I'd have to say what, just because. Well, my father was, he was. I'm sure all our fathers were the biggest Royals and Chiefs fans of any ever. I wasn't a huge baseball guy, but the 14-15 run, the run where we got to the World Series that we didn't win, that it was so improbable we were ever going to make it back.
Oh yeah.
I'm still landscaping at the time. We have the restaurant open. So, that was, for any young entrepreneur out there, don't quit your day job before.
Yeah, that's
So we'll circle back to that because that's interesting.
No, you're good. Yeah. So I'm sitting at the top bar, the original pub. The brewery was, it was four. So the brewery and tap room was built and open. But my dad was he helped from day one. He was quasi-retired, but needed something to do. So he bartended day and kind of ran the day at the pub. I'm sitting at the top bar, and a good friend, Matt Briegel's and he has World Series tickets. He had like the minute we won Game 7 or 6 of the championship, he had bought the Budweiser deck. He had spent it was like, I don't know, $100,000, whatever.
Sure, yeah.
And he was just trying to get his money back on, but you could have like 100 friends or something. And he's sitting at the top bar. He's like, will you tell your dad he's got to go to this? And he's holding 4 World Series tickets. And I'm sure you remember, I don't remember if you guys remember how, like, people were emptying their savings
they were
to
tough
go.
to get.
I mean, it was never going to happen again. The Chiefs were still, at that, the Chiefs were,
we were horrible
yeah,
those
it
years,
was,
yeah.
so it was like, people were emptying their bank account. I don't remember what he asked for, but I'm like, Dad. And he's like, not mine. My dad would never go to a game. He'd never spend money on anything. And I asked him for the checkbook. I wrote the check, gave it to Matt, who's now a lifelong friend. He was a friend before, but he didn't gouge us. It was just like money back money. And it was my wife and I and my mom and dad, and we sat at the Budweiser deck.
That's awesome.
And Matt paid for everything, all the food and drink. And I think it was game 2. It was either game 2 or I think it was game 2. But anyway,
game was that
1 and 2 are in KC.
was that when Gordo hit the ball center field?
No, that was
home
that,
run?
that was
2015.
That was 2015.
That's when we won.
Game 2 we won in 2014.
Yeah. I know we won the game. So it was game 2.
Wasn't that the extra innings game that was really long?
Maybe.
Anyway, so that was a moment.
How about this for 2014, 2015 history? It was lots of fun. We did everything we could to get out there and cheer them on.
Right?
Stu used to say, if they'd hired dudes, I'd be a ball boy or you have those cute ball, those cute.
Like the cheerleader girls.
The people
on top of the dugout throwing.
Stu was like, if they'd hire a dude, I'd be on that thing.
I went to in 2015. I went to like 42 home games.
Oh wow!
This was my wife. My then wife was my now wife was in Chicago at the time and no kids, so I had a lot of free time on my hands.
And the Cubs
too.
were really good. Those
they were
right
a little
there.
bit of ways, but yeah. So I was out at the K like every other night.
Oh, that's
year,
hilarious.
So.
Yeah, because I think the Cubs won 2016 maybe.
Yeah, I know they
you're
were
right.
right there.
You're right.
Yeah,
What's his name? Was it Chris Bryant?
Chris Bryant,
Yeah,
yeah.
He was kind of coming into his own those 2 years.
Yeah.
baseball guys. I'm not a baseball guy.
Yeah. We grew up doing all
Hot
the travel
take.
tournaments.
What downtown stadium? No, yeah, no.
I'm for it. Yeah. I think it will happen.
But
still,
we'll
maybe.
see.
No, yeah,
I don't know.
We're selfishly
pretty-
for it right there. 'Cause,
Yeah,
you know,
sure.
We could meander down the road. After that.
Did you have a strong opinion on that?
No, I sit on the fence on most of that stuff.
Yeah.
No, I just want to hear what you guys have to say.
Yeah.
No, you be polarizing.
Yeah, exactly. No, a downtown stadium would have been fun. It still would be fun. I think as far as campaigns and 6 to 9 months leading up to what the eventuality of the vote was pretty poor.
Yes.
I think we could
all agree on that.
go backwards and run a campaign on how to absolutely not run a campaign.
I'm not a conspiracist, but I'm almost convinced that they didn't want it to pass at this point.
Really?
Just seeing
at least the Chiefs.
Yeah, I mean the lack of effort they put into
it was
it.
so odd.
It was a weird deal. But
It was
hopefully they'll
odd.
get their ducks in a row and do something that the city's happier with for sure.
Sure.
Yeah.
But and that's jumping back though. It's curious. That's you're not the first entrepreneur that I've heard that of. That while the restaurant was getting going and you were getting the brewing company going, you were still doing your landscaping business.
Yes. So
how long did that go on, and is it still around?
No, it's not. Well, it's not around as it was. And saying that it wasn't around well at the end of that anyway. I think it was the mid-year 3. It was like right after we built the brewery, so I guess I would have been 4, where I told Chance, and Chance was exceptional. I'm like, dude, I can't, like, I'm doing this half-ass, and now we got
Right.
we're leveraged at $1 million or more. We don't have like 12 employees anymore. We have like 50. It's a thing. And I'm like, I'm gonna have to pay myself and do this. Like we didn't.
Yeah.
We took some money occasionally. If the bank account is like, man, we're making some money. Let's let's enjoy $1,000 or whatnot. I'm like, dude, I've got to take some money. I'm spending my wife wants to kill me. I'm losing the landscape company. So anyway, the kid who worked for me, I kind of arm wrestled him into buying it from me. And anyway, he's a great dude. And he still runs it.
Yeah. Does he take care of your house and your landscaping at home?
No, that's my favorite thing on the planet is mowing my own lawn. And I come home Monday. My wife has never mowed. I've still got a ZTR, a big stand-on ZTR, pretty big out in Lee Summit. And my wife, who's never been on it, I won't let her mow the lawn. That's kind of how my dad was. I come home and it's done. It's done. And I'm like, I came home early to mow. She's like, yeah, I understand now why you do it and take so long. I think I'm going to be doing it from now on. I'm like, no, that's my zen.
Yeah.
Like,
Right.
yeah. So I think we're going to get my son started with a little neighborhood deal in the next year or so.
That'd be fun.
Yeah.
It'd be sweet to have one of those mowers for your, like, we had a nice riding mower that
Yeah.
was, we probably could have put it to more use trying to make some money around the neighborhood, but
Yeah, coulda, woulda, shoulda. I had a great deal going. I'd come home Thursday nights. The lawn would be pristinely mowed, trimmed, everything perfect because we had a service doing it.
Right, sure.
Okay, but with 4 kids, the wife.
What was the service?
Here
Here we go. Messengers, Aspen.
No, it was
Rose Hill. Bruckman.
Borso.
There it
There you go.
is.
Yeah, and I went to school with Denny Borso, but was one of 13
Yeah.
children. Yeah, but the wife decides, as they usually do, because they make all the major decisions in life, right? That we needed to be doing that ourselves so we could teach the kids work ethic and to do it
this
themselves.
is all mom that
I,
put us in the
I haven't even heard this.
It's all on mom, yeah. And so
Still never mowed a lawn.
so I started mowing the lawn, and I too did. I enjoyed it. I really did.
I still do too.
And then then they would mow the lawn, and then I got tired of making them mow the lawn again, so I did it some more. And now I'm back to a service, and I'm just delighted.
Tune in next Thursday at Toby Tobin.
To your point, though, there's a couple times with the little ones. I was like, "Sorry, babe, I gotta go cut the grass."
Yeah, look at it.
Throw on the headphones.
Might take all Saturday.
She's like, "Why is this 3 hours long?" So yeah, it's a nice little.
My
time.
lawn's too small to have a riding mower, so I pay one of my neighborhood kids to mow.
Well, they
mine.
do sell
good
push.
man.
I'm giving back.
They do sell push mowers.
No, I know. I've got one.
I'm honestly surprised to know that it was only that 2010 timeframe that you guys were really kicking things off with this. I thought Martin City had been around longer than that.
Yeah.
I mean,
Nope.
that's
So
cool.
so the original restaurant opened in 11, and then the brewery was built in 14. So it
That's
was
nuts.
actually 14.
I mean, you guys have come such a long way in just 10 years. I mean, that's
Shucks,
wild.
now I'm embarrassed.
And you've got family that comes from Martin City, from the Jess and Jim's and RC's Chicken.
Yep, RC was my grandfather, my Uncle Dave and Uncle Mike. I cut my teeth with them. They kind of taught me the ins and outs of the restaurant business, and used to cut meat, butcher steaks next to Uncle Mike. Between that and mowing lawns is how I paid my way through college. So, yeah.
Still some of the best steak and chicken in town.
Yeah.
Are your kids? Do they have their hands in the brewing company? Have they been helping out? I'm sure as they've been growing up the last 10 years around it.
So the 12-year-old and 11-year-old, they're virtually Irish twins. They went to Bambini, which was a kind of a Montessori school right next to the brewery.
Okay.
So they had plenty of happy hours with Dad. I'd take them home after work. I mean, we'd have pretzels and hang out. The two youngest, Emmy, I used to bake with her when we were opening up the coffee shop, and then Sailor, she has rarely set foot in any of them. So no, they're not around. And now we live on the east side of Lee Summit. So other than going into Station 7 or the Lee Summit location, I don't think they really understand what I do or what we did. And if you tell them we're having pizza tonight, they'll immediately say, please let it be Little Caesars, because they want nothing to do with Martin City. They've eaten it till they're blue in the face. So there's that. That's out there to the world.
I'm sure as they start to get a little older, they'll have a little more interest.
Appreciate
in
it
the
a little
beer.
more, I hope. Or become priests, I don't know.
Well, it looks like Stuart's maybe wanting to open another one. So
Pace setter.
He's going to have
Hey,
to.
I'm empty.
I think that means you're going to have to ask another question. You're going to crack it open.
You want me to give you some father advice?
I would love some father advice. Yes.
Well, Dan, let's hear it.
Oh, he's heard plenty of father advice from me.
Yeah.
He doesn't need to hear any more of that.
No.
What's your wife's love language?
Ooh.
Yeah, exactly. You got to figure that out. I haven't either, but I'm just saying.
I hear.
That's what I hear.
I do hear there are a lot of them.
Yeah, I believe that once you think you got it.
Well, have you ever, in the landscaping world, have you used a log splitter many a time?
Sure.
Yeah.
Not many a times. We weren't usually splitting logs, but
Any tips or tricks? Because Dan rented one this Saturday, and he's trying to push it on me to come help him split a bunch of split a tree that fell.
I don't think it's terribly hard.
No.
Bob Brook, good friend of mine who deals in heavy equipment, would be the guy to ask for that. So
Yeah.
I'll have to phone a
It
friend.
sounds pretty. I mean, at least he's not asking you to swing a
It's
sledgehammer.
extremely simple.
Now
I've given Dan.
I've done some of that.
Yeah, I mean,
It's just one of those things where you just don't want to lose a finger. That's all.
Yeah.
We
It's
had
a good way to lose an afternoon on a Saturday when
yeah.
your wife would rather have you cleaning bathrooms in the house.
Right.
But-
We had
I
a large
chop
large walnut tree fall over a couple years ago, and we cut it up and
Slabbed it.
no, we just
okay.
round and my original request was just have it hauled off.
And you probably could have got.
I know it.
Yeah.
I know it. Walnut is
yeah.
but we did not do that. So we cut it into smaller pieces so it was manageable, but it's still big, and it has sat for about 2 years. And now I just want to bust it up so I can burn it.
Right.
You know, at least get some good out of it. So that's what.
You're going to throw your shoulder out.
That's what
trying
I'm
to
gonna-
bust up that walnut.
Well, I hope not. Not if I can get
Is
someone
this
to
what
come
you guys
help.
are doing? Are you splitting walnut?
Yeah.
That's what. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's what. I got a text at 5 a.m. this morning asking if I would help, and I'm just like, what in the hell? Like,
The man doesn't sleep.
That's from you at 5 a.m. Well, good. I'll text you when I got nobody to talk to.
There you go.
5 a.m.
There you go.
yeah, I got an early email from you too. These morning guys.
I am very early,
Yeah.
and I am asleep by.
Yeah.
If I say 9:30 and my wife's here, she's saying bullshit.
Yeah.
He's asleep by 8:30. So
Yeah. Well, tonight though will be a later night. You got date night, right?
Yeah. We'll get
Yeah, he
to
might make it till 9.
9:20, 9:30.
Are you able to share where you're going for date night tonight?
This is not live, by the way.
Well, I wish I could tell you. We're going down to Sandlot Goods, Sandlot, the hat manufacturers,
Yeah.
the local hat manufacturers, Tyler Enders, Made in KC, good friend of mine.
Oh, cool, yeah.
They're having like an open house for some people, so we're going there first
Cool.
to check out.
They know Tyler.
Hats being made.
Tyler,
Yeah, he
Tyler
grew up two blocks over
blocks
from
from
us.
us.
Oh,
Yeah,
yeah, right
yeah.
on.
Yeah, they
Yeah,
were at
Tyler
the
was
school.
K through 12 with the Enders.
really.
Yeah. I used to run around the neighborhood with his younger brother Robert.
Oh
Robert
my
Enders
God,
a
that's
lot.
amazing.
Yeah, you'll have to tell him he came on. with
I
us.
will,
Yeah.
absolutely. So we're gonna be down there
Cool.
till 6 or so, and we'll probably, I don't know. Last Thursday we hit Blue
Sushi?
Blue Sushi. I'm
always
trying to lose 20 pounds in 60 days, so sushi works
good.
well with
Yeah,
that.
Yeah.
Well, that brings up a question. What has entering the small business world that is Kansas City, like who are some of the people that you've met and some of the small business communities and that you're in and some of the collaboration and some stuff like that? What has opened your eyes just being in that world and how Kansas City treats their own and that kind of thing?
Well, there's, there's been 100 people that have helped me, get to, I don't want to say where I am. I'm not I'm really not anywhere, but like Mike Darby, who owns Coaches, he tragic about 6 years ago, but he was outside of my uncles who helped. If I had a restaurant question, he was the guy I was calling nonstop. Steve Hawley at KC Beer, I know you live near there. We talked about it. He's been extremely open with a ton of stuff within the brewery. And then, most of the brewers around town, we were talking to Boulevard early on with a bunch of, just getting started and stuff, and they were very helpful. Not that they're not now. We just kind of have our bearings now. But I mean, before the sell,
Right, they're a different animal now.
yeah. And, I mean, it was
local owned before.
yeah. It was local owned before, and it's still great. It's still a great brand, great people. Central States, our distributor, has been a great asset to us. I've been in the Vistage program. I went through the hemp program, the Hellisburg entrepreneurship mentoring program. Cool. So along the way, there was too many to count.
Well, and how did you, with like the relationship with Tyler and like Made in KC, have you guys done some things together?
So nothing crazy specific on they sell our product in their stores,
Yeah.
and I've been an advocate of his every step of the way. How Tyler and I know each other is he was working for it's more than a credit card processing deal, but he was working with some guys out in South Kansas City, I think, just outside of Belton.
Okay.
And they'd come in there for lunch every day, and we developed a relationship.
Yeah,
And then, next
good.
thing I know, everybody started moving on, and
Right.
kind of followed him everywhere he's
Yeah, that's
gone.
cool.
And
Okay.
we've been on some panels together, but
That's interesting. I love hearing about the collaborativeness of Kansas City, because that's something that our youngest, I mentioned before the program started, is living in St. Helena in Napa, and is in the wine business. And that's one of the things that he was very surprised about and really enjoys about Napa, is how collaborative the valley is.
yeah, that's amazing.
Vineyards help vineyards, and wineries and are he said it's really not competitive. It is a very collaborative community, which sounds like exactly what you were saying about the beer business in Kansas City.
Yeah, well, I mean, the thing is, everybody, there's enough mouths for enough beer and enough pizza or enough whatever. I think, you hit a point with other business owners, entrepreneurs, or young people coming behind me, or older people that are trying to get out. Like, you mature and you develop a sense of where you came from or where somebody's coming from. And I mean, anybody coming up now, what am I, 14 years into this, somebody calls, I give them all the time I can. And I'm like,
Right.
pick up the phone. Let me help you. And I had people, I know I'm not mentioning most of them every step of the way but I also had a personality that I wasn't too proud or bashful to pick up the phone. So,
Right.
I mean, I picked up the phone and I'd be like, I'm so sorry. And they'd be like, no, I'm fine, and then,
Right.
you start to develop that just cadence. And we've tried to instill that into our managing partners and operators. Like, dude, don't hit your head against a wall if you think myself or this person or that person has the answer. Like,
Right.
everybody's time that's the most valuable asset any of us have. Like, let me fix this in 5 seconds if somebody can. I don't need you spending a weekend trying to fix this problem. So
Somebody who's dealt with it a dozen times.
dealt with it a dozen. I mean, I'm like, wouldn't you rather help out somebody
Yes.
on whatever it was that took you forever to
Well, and
figure
when,
out?
when people are good to you as you're making your way through your trials and tribulations, that's stuff that sticks with you. I
Right.
mean, how that goes, it's that saying, it's not what people say that you'll remember. It's how they made you feel. I mean, that's to that point, you remember that stuff.
Right.
Pay it forward.
Yeah.
You get to
it's
do
cool.
it for somebody too.
And I think Kansas City's good about that. I mean,
Well, that's one of the things that people say all the time about, clients that come to Kansas City. People are so friendly.
I know everyone's so damn nice.
They'll look you in the eyes and talk to you.
Right. Yeah.
We take it for granted, but it's not.
Absolutely.
Not the norm.
Yeah.
No, yeah, and it's a more enjoyable way to go about things, anyways, and to operate. But and I don't know, you might not appreciate this question. I'm kind of putting you on the spot, but if you were gonna have one beer that's not a Martin City beer, what are you drinking?
Ooh. Well,
It's a tough question.
it's not that tough. I'll tell you what, it's tough because it's weekly, monthly seasonality. Like,
That's so true.
So
Yeah.
today, like
Right
yesterday, so we just switched payroll companies. I'm gonna leave them out of this, but the guy who sold it was from Michigan, and he brought us. He goes, "I'm dropping by the office tomorrow. I have gifts for you." And I text back, "No more Yetis." Like, I got Stanleys and Yetis, and I mean, I'm gonna have to build another house for more, containers for water.
We get them through our
Anyway,
stuff too.
anyway, I just screwed up my gift bag, didn't I? Anyway, he sent back a laugh. He brought in like Kanga coolers or
Kanga
something.
cooler,
I don't know what they are.
And it goes over like a 6-pack.
Yeah, it's sweet.
12-pack. He brought us a 12-pack.
They were on Shark Tank.
And in each one of those 12 packs, because he's from Michigan, was Bell's Oberon. And I am a huge,
never heard
so
of
that
You're a
brought,
You're a
it's
Bell's
a
fan?
summer citrus sweet. It's it's fantastic.
Do you make a point to drink local when you travel? Like when you go, like, will you make a point to like drink something that's local or something like that, just out of principle?
Oh, sure. Yeah. You're talking about if
When
I
you're
go
in
to
a town.
Chicago,
If you go out of
drink a
town.
Chicago beer.
Right,
Absolutely.
right, yeah.
All day
Or
long.
something
sure
more
you've had-
boutique-y, you know?
I'm sure you've had some spotted cow.
Oh, yeah. Sure.
That stuff's pretty good.
Yeah.
I think they have like a mystique to it because you can't get it out of Wisconsin.
Yeah. New Glarus is, it's a beast, man. Like the 12th biggest brewery in the nation, and then they don't distribute outside
I
of
don't even know
Wisconsin.
they're 12th biggest.
Yeah, I
so-
mean, it's something like that. But I mean, it's an insane amount of beer that has to be consumed in Wisconsin. I know it's not a small state.
They're
but
capable.
That
They're
used to
capable.
be.
They're capable.
That used to be.
Hey, it's somebody's job.
That used to be the Coors shtick. You used to not be able to get Coors beer
Outside of Colorado.
outside of
you guys
Colorado.
would be driving
People
on
used to
I-70.
bootleg it. Yeah, they would.
Dad,
drive
how
it.
old are you?
Well, you see that dirt outside.
What is the furthest you guys distribute to right now? Outside?
We used to go across Kansas. We pulled back in, and we're just the metro area.
Okay.
Really?
I think we'll extend to Lawrence with Q39 opening up there.
Oh, yeah.
We do a specialty brew 39 for them.
Oh, cool.
And so I think we'll break back into Lawrence. But
Is that just a volume cost thing? I mean, is it just,
yeah, there's so much beer out there. I would rather have it being
Drunk.
Either way, go for it.
I would rather have it
Consumed.
locally
Dan's not even gotta
consumed,
ask.
fresh than rotting on,
Yeah.
rotting on shelves in
Out of-
Hayes
out of
or
town.
Wichita. I mean,
Right.
Wichita's got a lot of great breweries. I mean, Defiance out of Hayes. It was just one of those things.
Okay. Cool.
I mean, we want to be Kansas City. I
Yeah.
mean,
Yeah.
Neat.
yeah.
No, that's really awesome.
Yeah.
It's good stuff.
You know, it's amazing how interested these two have been in this conversation. Usually, conversations with a lot of other industrial real estate people have ended 10, 15 minutes ago. But
I mean, you just get the drinks flowing.
Well, we got to finish these.
Yeah,
This episode, right?
Yeah, I thought this was a power hour.
Well, where would you guys like us to pop up next?
Oh yeah. Well, your Mission Farms isn't too far from us.
Yeah.
I mean,
That's a
something
great
close to our
spot.
office would be kind of nice.
Yeah, well, there we go. That's not a bad idea.
well, wait a minute. Mission Farms, he's got one.
That's
No,
what
I
he's
know.
saying. It's
That's what I'm saying.
Yeah,
That's what I'm saying. His is this one there.
we've
now.
enjoyed a happy hour or two there with
Yeah.
some of our previous guests. So
This-
you know
yeah.
the Stowe,
Yeah,
the
the
Rebecca and
Stowes.
Toby
That's
Stowe.
right.
right?
That's right. We caught up
We,
there. and-
we enjoyed some of your beers there.
Our kids go to school together.
Oh, nice.
Yeah,
Nice.
they're
All right,
great,
cool.
great people.
Yeah,
we,
yeah,
don't,
great
we don't
family.
live 5 minutes from them.
yeah, cool.
But
So you're in Lenexa, and then the current is your furthest north. The current stadium is your furthest north location.
Yeah, but
Current-
it's just-
currently.
yeah,
Yes,
currently.
there you go.
which we got the
Currently.
current
It's just-
blue on.
yeah.
They were repping.
Right.
Well, I know that there's a lot going on Armour up there, North Kansas City. That'd be a pretty cool little spot for one.
Yeah, Armor,
But,
Burlington.
there's several good little breweries up there too.
Yep.
Yeah.
Yep,
What's
big,
the one right next to Chicken and Pickle called?
Cinder Block.
Cinder Block.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah.
Big fan of Bryce.
Yeah.
He's been around. I think they opened just before us. It was like Rock and Run, Cinder Block, KC Beer opened the day before us, then us, then yeah, a lot of people since.
Yeah. Well, this sponsorship already feels like it's an incredible idea. But
A
really,
real win-win situation.
After all these thousands of dollars spent, finally
Yes.
being acknowledged.
You're our big fish. Yeah.
but we really appreciate you coming on with us, and B, supporting us and being a sponsor means a lot, and excited to see where we can take it, and we're going to be sharing some Martin City beers with every guest we have on here, whether it's 8 a.m. or 4 p.m. We're going to make sure they finish the.
I love and appreciate it. I have waivers for you guys. It's perfect. What was the lightning question? What was the
Yes.
Yeah. See, I asked.
Are we there?
Yeah, we've already. It was the crack it open.
we've gone
I mean,
through
we're still new to the segment, so I'm not gonna lie, I stumbled a little bit, but some of the, I think the favorite sports moment was cool. The World Series is pretty badass, and I think that's for a lot of Kansas Cityans. It's weird, and I wonder if it's because the Chiefs have won so much now. We're just
Well,
spoiled,
it's kind of
right.
annoying.
But,
you know,
but the Royals are kind of still
What's
like the
wrong with
sweet-
you?
And like I said, the fact that it came to mind, because Chiefs was.
Oh, yeah.
Right.
Throw a rock at the TV on Sundays was
yeah.
Dad. Zubas, fully Zubas. Just everything. Baseball is just like,
Well,
it's
they really
great,
are-
but
they were a true Cinderella.
oh my God, that run was just insane. So.
I really would like to see you consider expanding nationally, though, because we'd like to see you take down a bunch of warehouses and a lot of distribution, to where we could.
You know what?
You'd like that too.
Yeah, we're just almost maxed out on production, so I think we expand across the nation.
There you go.
With our
Next
second
logical
best
step.
seltzer.
Yeah. But well, I don't know if the listeners want to keep listening to us drink anymore, but we really appreciate you coming on. And Martin City Brewing, you're going to be hearing about them every time you listen in for the future listeners. But I'm sure you can probably find, I don't know what your guys' Instagram is, but go give them a follow on Instagram and go pay them a visit at one of their now 7 or 8 locations.
Yep.
If you're at a current game, go grab some beers and Martin City beers. And be sure to follow On Air with Team Jensen on YouTube or Spotify or.
And what else? Is there
Apple.
anything else that you would like our massive listening audience to know about Martin City?
Oh no, I'm more blessed than I ever should be, and thankful for everything we've got. So look for a tap room opening up near you, hopefully. But
Awesome.
yeah, no, it's been great, man. I appreciate it
It's great
being
to get
on,
to know
guys.
you. Yeah.
Yeah, likewise.
Perfect.
That's how we